I love the style of just project management. I almost went into specifically project management myself. So for me, a lot of it is like having touch bases, right? Putting something on the calendar, saying once a week we're gonna, whether there's an update or not, we're touching base. Where are we? Who's in charge of what? And when do we have due dates, right? Because I feel like a lot of people, if you're not tied to something and someone's not responsible, it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, I'll do that, and then you never get a response, or hey, did you see it? So having some kind of system for project management, whether it's a software, a person, their Excel sheets, Monday.com, there's so many out there now. Having something to actually show face for what does this process going to look like. I can keep going down that
Yeah.
rabbit hole.
So you and your husband, you're like kind of co-partners in this business, correct?
Yes.
Were you like in business before you got married, after you got married?
We were in business before, which is a fun conversation because everyone's always like, it's one or the other. I can never work with my partner. And then the other is, oh, I could totally, like, we would kick ass doing this. And so it is one or the other. For us, we did work together while we were dating. And then obviously we were still together through COVID, still working on the business, and then we decided we wanted to stay together.
And y'all never were like, man, I see you 24/7. Like, I don't want to see your face right now. Like, you need to go somewhere. I got to go somewhere.
We haven't had the direct conversation, but I'm sure, like, I'm someone who, if I need space, like, or if my head hurts, I will be like, hey, I need to go take a nap. And I'll go do that, right? Or he will be like, I need to go work it out at the gym, and he'll go do that. But I don't think it's ever done in an evil way of sorts.
And hopefully this will never happen, but you ever had a situation like you and your husband going to meet somewhere, and you obviously tell the guy on the other side, like, I'm only dealing with Spencer, right? Like, I understand Bianca's your partner, but, I'm dealing with Spencer, right?
Like, have we had a situation?
Yeah.
I don't know if we haven't had the specific situation where someone was very straightforward like that, but sometimes it is obvious if someone is geared to talking more to him or talking more to me, and then we get together and it's like, okay, I'm going to be the primary contact, right? Or he's going to be the primary contact. But we haven't had someone be very sharp about it, which is nice, but it does make it a little bit harder if, Spencer's like my visionary guy. He can take us and say, hey, we're going to go here in the next year, right? And I get into the fine details, and that works really well. But when we're starting to build a relationship and we need to get into those details, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get past that hump of like, oh, well, I've been working with Spencer. I should have, I can tell Spencer those details, but it's like, I'm going to need to join that call so that I can actually put it into practice. So it's an interesting dynamic.
And how about vice versa, where a female business owner, like, I'm not dealing with Spencer, I'm only dealing with Bianca?
I haven't had that yet either.
Okay.
Yeah. If anything, again, I just take the primary contact and we work together, and sometimes we were able to just vibe better from a woman perspective. But we haven't had any blunt instances where...
And the company name, does it represent anything, or is this a random name?
Prospera Ventures. It kind of does represent. So while we were going literally down the rabbit hole of like, what do we want to do next and what do we want that to represent in us, is the idea of us prospering, us empowering, us growing. We also wanted to tie it a little bit to my Hispanic heritage. And so I was like, well, how can I tie these, growth words in some kind of Mexican format or Hispanic using the Spanish language? So obviously we use ChatGPT for help.
How was business ever done before ChatGPT?
Oh my gosh. It makes you wonder, right? Now we get to use our brain cells for other stuff. But we just dove down that, and eventually we found a really good one, Prospera. And then it was like, okay, Prospera Partners, Prospera this. And I don't know if we just got tied to ventures or if it was from like our startup experience, being VC backed. But we just thought that was a good collaborated name. And then in terms of the logo, I really wanted it to signify that growth piece, and so I did a bunch of research on and actually I think I have it on my arm too, tattoo wise, the firefly and the lotus, right? Because lotus grow when it's in muddy waters. And I felt like at the time when we were starting to create this, there was some muddy waters, and it kind of just naturally fell into place of like, we're in muddy waters and we want to grow past this, and we're also going to be working with owners that might be in muddy waters, right? They might be dealing with a situation where they need to sell their business tomorrow. How do they get out of that? How can we help them get out of that? And so it just kind of naturally synced of like, hey, we're, here's our lotus, here's Prospera Ventures, and we want everyone to grow with us in some kind of nice way. Oops.
So what's your take on this, right? Talking about ChatGPT, and this is something I totally disagree with, right? So I guess a study is showing that, of course, you can have one study show one thing, another study next day show something else. This study supposedly shows that since everyone's so reliant on ChatGPT, we're not using our brain to think anymore, right? We're so reliant on ChatGPT. Well, my argument, no, it's just a tool, right?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think there are two ways to look at it. You can try and solely rely on the internet, Google, ChatGPT, Maps, right? And you can do it in a way that keeps you from learning, right? But then there's a way where you can really use it to push you forward 10 times faster. For me, I almost forget that it's there because I haven't really integrated it on my day-to-day aspect, like to the fullest. But I have been playing with it more. And I think it's really about what are you trying to get out of it, right? If I want it to prompt me to think deeper and to challenge me, works amazing, right? But if I just want it to solve a problem that I can probably, take a few minutes to really think through, then why am I using it, right? If I need it to write an email, like write an email. Okay, well here's my email. How can I make it better, right? And then really like challenge me to be better in a different way. And I say email because I do use it for email because I feel like, again, I'm trying to explain something and I want someone to really clearly understand what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. That's a give and take. I do think there are ways to use it where it's productive.
Like me, like I'm on LinkedIn a lot. I think on the worst waste of time when people on LinkedIn put down, like you see in the conversation LinkedIn, oh, don't use AI, the M-dash, we can tell you're not doing anything. Like, to me, it's a complete waste. Like, wait, you waste your time telling other people not to use AI?
Can I tell you?
I don't get it.
I saw something, I wish I knew. I don't know if it was someone that I'm connected to on LinkedIn or if it was a suggested post, but I saw something that said by 2050 that people are going to have almost AI personas, right? Because people are they're trying to create a character, right, in AI to understand themselves, right? I am this. I'm a business owner, right? I want to make this much amount next year. This is who I am in my life. These are decisions that I've made, right? Now, I'm going to bring you a situation and I need you to help me think through it, right? You almost have the second persona, and this post said that by 2050, people are going to have multiple like avatars or personas that actually the job that people are going to want, the younger generation right now, is going to be like an AI persona therapist of sorts. And I was like, hold on, what? You mean I'm going to get confused with who is the real me and who did I develop in this bot?
I mean, think about it. It's kind of happened already because, like, if you're a kid, right, you have a persona on Instagram, on a TikTok, because you do different things. Like different, And like me, I communicate with older people in my family on Facebook, kids and nephews on like TikTok, so each one is like a different persona, I think, right? But I definitely see that coming, yeah.
It's crazy, and it makes you wonder. It makes you think, like, what is the next, tech boom, right? We hit the internet, we're hitting AI, we're hitting crypto. There's going to be another one. There's going to be multiple more, and it's about, how do you use it so that it doesn't necessarily take advantage of you, but that you can hopefully use it and optimize what you're already doing and existing. Super.
I mean, supposedly in Japan, all the men are getting like AI robot girlfriends,
I mean, we get lonely. People get lonely, right? I can only imagine, right? Especially with COVID. With COVID, people were stuck at home. If you didn't live with your family, what'd you do? Watch TV, talk to AI? Like,
it's insanity right now. So talk about how you empower business owners.
Different ways. It's one of those things. We have a partner, a friend that always says, it depends. It depends. And It really does depend, unfortunately, right? Because I think it's around who are they, what are they working with, what are their challenges, right? Do they need someone to say, hey, you can do this, or do they need someone to say, hey, you're taking on too much, and evaluating their circumstance.